Now, let's close our eyes. Be in a relaxed state. Allow yourself to hear and understand, but also see and experience as we share the unfolding of the order and structure of the cosmos, from the infinite to the most manifest creation. And as we sit here in silence at this beautiful spot on earth, let us begin to center within ourselves and sense that we are awake. Now, take some deep breaths of this pure, life-filled air, and allow your diaphragm to expand as you inhale through your nose, and then exhale fully through your mouth. And as you inhale, see your entire mind and body being filled with the life and light and energy around us. And as you exhale, see yourself becoming completely relaxed, and all stresses and all negativity leaving your mind and your body, and being swept away in the wind and cleansed by the infinite wisdom of Mother Earth. With each breath, bring in a new and higher level of energy and awakeness. And with each expiration, dive deeper in a state of complete silence and relaxation, and release yourself of any limitations or negativity. Let them be swept away in the vastness and the purifying influence of Earth. Feel yourself breathing with Mother Earth as she gives us this air and as she takes from us the breath as we exhale. And breathe in the conscious life and light of this infinitely wise Mother, and release into the earth all of your worries and concerns, all of your pain and suffering, and find yourself in a state of perfect equanimity and peace. Now, very gently, without straining the mind, allow yourself to observe your own breath as it goes in and out, as you are in a perfect state of quiet and peace. And as you are observing your breath, gently see the awake mind that is watching the breath. See it as steady and ever present. What is watching the breath? See that there is an awakeness within yourself that is steady and unchanging, observing all things, peaceful. And as you see your breath rising and falling, going in and out in this beautiful, peaceful state, you also see that the mind that is watching quietly is an infinite ocean of awakeness. Now we dive into this vast ocean and allow ourselves to go very, very deeply into quiet and peaceful conscious mind that observes all things. And we behold that the breath of our life, the sounds around us, the thoughts that rise and fall and come and go within the mind, all that we hear and see and feel and touch and know is now submerged in this vast ocean of awakeness. And very gently, we go ever more deeply, diving into that awake mind. And we see that even our individuality, that which we call I, ourselves, is but a window, now a very clear and pure window, through which this infinite light of awareness is shining. And in this moment we see, as we dive now more deeply into this ocean of consciousness, that it is an awake, infinite, single, omnipresent field of awakeness. as it shines through our own individuality. And it is this awakeness which enables us to watch our breath, to hear the sounds, to see the sights, to observe the thoughts, and to even apprehend our own selves. Leaving then this small self behind, let us dive completely in freedom as we would into an infinite ocean, into this beautiful and infinite conscious mind. And we see then that we are awake, and that this awakeness is a singularity, always indivisible, shining within all beings. And that every one of us sitting here together, and every being on earth, and every being in the cosmos, is awake by this same unbroken, indivisible light of consciousness, the mind in its unbounded and infinite true nature. Then, soaring on the wings of this infinite mind, as we would through the vastness of a fathomless ocean, we see that each of us is one, and that this silent, absolute, infinite, and eternal awake being is standing within all things, shining within each atom, moving every photon, illuminating every soul, shining from every star. And as we see in this instant that the entirety of creation and all that exists is this same awakeness, shining, moving, phasing in unique shapes and forms, it is all one. It is indivisible. It is eternal. Within the field of this absolute awakeness, we see that because it is beyond space, it is infinite. And because it is not bound by any point in time, it is eternal. And yet in its fullness, without division, it is present at every point in space and every point in time. And in this we see the state of divine perfection, perfect harmony and oneness. And being thus centered in this awakeness which is infinite, we begin to explore the structure of the cosmos. And we see that this omnipresent awakeness and the infinite manifest creation are perfectly one. And yet within the sphere of that which is relative, there are distinctions. Being then established in this infinite cosmic mind, let us gaze into the finest level of its manifestation as this infinite being and this eternal mind, through the operation of its own will, takes on the form of the Creator. Moving then within the realm of infinity, the Creator aspect of this infinite mind and being exists as the primal source that manifests and maintains the entire universe and the entire creation. And the first emanation from this infinite and absolute mind is a sound, a thought, the sound vibration of which has within it the seed sound and idea of all that has been, all that is, and all that will be. And from this primal thought, issuing forth from the infinite and divine oneness of the conscious being of the divine mind, we see the cosmos becoming manifest and differentiated. And from this primal thought, issuing forth from the morn of eternity, we see within this primal thought and sound the thought and seed idea for all things, all places, all ideas, all structures, all forms, all sounds, all that can be and will ever be and ever was in the entirety of creation. And so we perceive this primal thought and this primal sound, which are one, differentiating into an infinite number of realities. And within one, we can see a star. And within another, an apple. And within another, we see our own individuality and self. And with another, we see our friends. And within another, we see the grass. And within another, we see the wolf. And within another, we see the earth. And within another, we see other worlds. Thus, in infinite progression, the seed idea forms, each with their own primal thought and sound, issuing forth from this most great thought, through the operation of will of the Creator, rises forth from the silent eternal being. And as we perceive this becoming more manifest, we see within this great being the most great light. And from this primal thought and this most elemental, beautiful sound issues forth the form of the perfect light, the perfect form, which has within it all of the creation, and the infinite cosmic creation is suffused in light, emerges and unfolds within our vision. And in this most great light, we see then the form of all that there can be. And within this world of light, an ocean of infinite light, we see that every form is manifest, and corresponding to the sound and thought vibration for an apple, issuing forth from the primal thought and tone, we behold the astral light form of an apple. And so too within each created thing, whether it be a wolf, or a tree, or a star, or a world. And all of it is there, both in perfect oneness with the awake mind of the Creator who created it, and in its own fullness, as a perfect creation, first in thought, then in form, and then in light. And so we see this infinite light expanding and becoming differentiated, and the vast celestial worlds unfold before our vision, and worlds infinite and divine are stretched out around us in all directions, infinitely extending through space and time. And so we behold the structure and the light of the celestial blueprint for the entirety of creation and the universe and all that exists within the world of change and expression in time and space. And as this begins to become more differentiated, we see that within this world of light exists the perfect sound and seed idea of each thing. And within each sound is the primal tone. And as we dive more deeply, we see the awake Creator itself, manifesting the entire creation, pouring within it this unbroken, singular awake mind, whereby we are all conscious at this moment, in this time, in this space. And seeing this firmly within us, we now behold the material creation being supported through the fine crystalline form of the world of astral light, and emanating from the blueprints of the form within the astral worlds of light, emerged the baseline form of energy, which supports every atom, every electron, which supports all the forces of manifest creation and the material cosmos. And so we see emerging, manifesting and expressing from this vast celestial creation the differentiated and perfect worlds of light, and then the physical reality of the expressed material universe. And so we see our own star, the sun, emerging from this perfect astral sun, which has emerged from the most great light, and which has within it the perfect idea form from the sun, emerging from the primal sound and primal thought, issuing forth from the will of the infinite creator. And so with each thing we contemplate, we see it unfolding before us, whether it be a blade of grass, an animal, our own individualities and bodies, worlds far from here with peoples who are conscious even as we are. All of it emerging from this perfect template of the astral worlds of light, which are unfolding from the most great light, and the finest level of celestial light, which is issuing forth from the most great thought, and the primal tone, which has within it the first emanation of sound coming forth from the morn of eternity. And as we dive even further, we are left on the edge of the infinite, the timeless, and the eternal absolute being. And so we see this perfect unity between the infinite mind, whereby we are conscious and awake, and our own existence, and the awakeness whereby each of us is conscious can never be divided from this single awake being, standing within all things. We are never divided and never separate from anything. And then as we gaze in all directions around us, we behold a perfect divine order, and that this great being, from time to time, has sent to earth and to other worlds avatars or manifestations of divinity, who enliven entire worlds and refresh in a new springtime the entire creation. And we are filled with happiness as we see that the time of a new springtime has arrived, and an era of thousands of years of unbroken peace and enlightenment are dawning upon the earth and upon every world in the creation, within the entire cosmos. Seeing then, in perfection, the creation, the creator, and the infinite mind, we are now aware that it is the true created reality, and that this is a doorway to the infinite, and that the unbounded and infinite being is truly omnipresent, omniscient, ever abiding, at every point in space and time, and at every level of creation. And that indeed is folded within us, and within all things, a perfect quantum hologram of all that there is. And thus the entire creation and universe is folded within us. And that our own individualities, which are part of the creation, have issued forth from the Creator. And our highest state of realization is to be as nothing, to be still. We see that we are clear windows through which the infinite light of the great being is shining, and the awake mind, whereby we are conscious at this moment, is the eternal being, the infinite self, the cosmic mind, from which all things, all time, all space is emanating. Now, let our minds rest at that point of the first emanation, where awakeness begins to become relative existence, where the absolute phases into the relative existence of the cosmos and of creation. We see that within this most great thought is the seed idea of all knowledge. And at this level, everything may be known. All knowledge exists. Every science, every art, every fact, every truth. And this is folded within the reality of each of us, and is a fountain that can give forth all knowledge, all science, and all truth. And we may learn to go to this spot, this place of the placeless within us, and see the truth, and unravel the sciences, and know the facts, and perceive reality. On the wings of this infinite awake mind within us, we realize that we are integrated in perfect harmony, indivisibly, with every point in space and time. Through gently, subtly, using the free will given to us by the Creator, in accordance with the divine will, all things are possible and all life is benefited. Humbly turning to this unbounded being, we may then awaken to a distant point in space or time and perceive what is happening in that place and in that time. And so it is that perchance we may fall asleep one night and perceive what will happen the next day, or the next year, or the next century, because folded within us is all time and all space. The nature of the mind within us is omnipresent, and is present within every point of creation and at every point in time and space. Thus we see the entirety of the universe is open to us, because the most great mind